Most men spend hours trying to figure out how to stay on her mind. They overthink every message, replay conversations, and wonder what to say next. But the truth is simple. Just 3 words said the right way can make her think about you again and again without extra effort. And no, I'm not talking about obvious lines like, I love you. I mean words that slide quietly under her skin and spark the part of her brain that keeps replaying you like a favorite song she didn't even know she put on repeat. Here's what most men miss. Women don't obsess over looks or perfection. They care about how someone makes them feel. Beauty fades, perfection gets boring, feeling stays. If your words make her feel something unique, you don't just become interesting, you become unforgettable. That's why these 3 words matter. I'll share them soon. But first, understand why most men get this completely wrong. Many men think attraction comes from doing more texting, more explaining, more chasing, more effort to show they care. They assume if they just try hard enough, she'll finally feel it too. But obsession doesn't grow from effort. It grows from impact. The right words don't just reach her ears for a moment. They echo in her mind long after the conversation ends. They show up when she's alone, when she's quiet, or when she least expects it. Before I give you these 3 words, stay with me because I'll also show you how to use them naturally. Not forced, not obvious, not rehearsed. Used right, she never sees it coming, but she always remembers you. Imagine her thinking about you all day without constant messages, without chasing, without trying to be a perfect version of yourself. Just 3 simple words. That's all. 3 words that can make the difference between being another man she forgets tomorrow or the one she keeps thinking about long after you go quiet. Let's be clear, this isn't a cheap trick, it's not a movie line, it's not a gimmick to manipulate her, it's real. It's based on psychology and how attraction works beneath the surface. I'm talking about the part of the mind Carl Jung studied his whole life, the unconscious mind, that hidden place where real desire lives. Most people think attraction is logical, like a checklist. He's handsome, smart, kind, has a good job, okay, I'm interested. But that's not how it works. The connections that move us most aren't logical. They're emotional. They're symbolic. They live in the part of the mind you can't see, but you can feel. Jung explained it perfectly. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will guide your life, and you will call it fate. Think about that. The memories that linger, the moments that touch you, a smile that feels different, a comment that hits deep, a glance that says more than words. None of that is planned. Those are emotional triggers. They bypass logic and hit the core. They wake something inside you you didn't know was asleep. Many men go wrong trying to create this feeling by doing more. More messages, more check-ins, more effort to be noticed. The harder you try, the less magnetic you become. True attraction comes from resonance, from the calm, lasting impression you leave. You create that when your words and energy bypass her conscious filter and reach her unconscious mind. This is why those 3 words work. They're not just words, they're symbols. They plant an image in her mind and invite her into a quiet story she can't stop imagining. Once that image takes root in her emotional mind, you're no longer competing for attention. You've entered a different space. Here's my promise. By the end of this, you'll not only know what to say, you'll understand why it works. This isn't about tricks. It's about psychology. It's not about temporary obsession. It's about creating a connection that pulls her emotionally and lasts. It's not magic. It's how the human brain works. Once you understand this, you stop chasing, stop stressing, and stop trying to be perfect. You don't need flawless lines or constant messages. You just need to speak in a way her unconscious mind remembers. Here's a truth few people talk about. Attraction doesn't start in the logical brain. It doesn't begin with lists or checkboxes. Being nice, kind, successful, or good-looking matters later, but it doesn't create the spark. The connections that stay with us, that quietly haunt us, are emotional first, logical later. Jung studied this. Our minds are driven by symbols, patterns, and unconscious pulls as much as by reason. We think we make smart choices, but the unconscious decides first. That's why Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will guide your life and you'll call it fate." Most men block themselves from creating this connection. Conversations often start polite, safe, flat. "Hey, how are you? How was your day? Hope you're doing well." These lines aren't bad, they're invisible. They don't spark emotion. They don't create an image. They don't cut through her day. The mind doesn't store words, it stores feelings. You may forget the exact sentence, but you remember the feeling. That's emotional anchoring. Without it, even a pleasant chat fades into background noise. The unconscious mind responds to symbols, images, and suggestion, not safe topics. A single line with the right energy can be more powerful than dozens of messages. When your words carry subtle emotion, they slip past her guard. She replies because something touched an emotional thread she didn't know existed. Once that happens, you've stood out. To leave a lasting impression, stop with empty, emotionless lines. Next time you talk to a woman you like, ask, does this create an image? Does it spark curiosity? Does it move emotion? Or is it filler? Filler disappears. Emotion stays. When you understand attraction is unconscious, everything changes. You stop trying to impress with perfection. You start aiming for emotional resonance. That's when you move from just another conversation to a memory she keeps returning to. Most conversations are the same. "Hey, how are you? How was your day?" Safe, kind, forgettable. Safe is the fastest way to fade. Polite greetings don't trigger emotion, they're placeholders. If you don't give her brain something emotional to hold on to, there's nothing to replay later. Words with feeling connect to emotion, and emotion is stored. Scent works like this too. You smell something and remember someone years later. Words work the same way. The problem isn't reaching out, it's how you did it. Without emotional weight, she has nothing to return to. Once you understand this, attraction isn't chasing attention. It's creating moments that quietly stay, small on the surface but deep underneath. Moments her unconscious revisits automatically. The brain notices change. Anything that breaks the routine gets marked as important. Thousands of years ago, noticing change meant survival. Today, that wiring notices energy and presence. Say something that makes her pause, something that pulls her from routine, and you activate that novelty switch. If it also stirs curiosity or emotion, you create a double anchor. Her brain tags you as someone worth thinking about later. That's where attraction quietly grows. Here's the warning. Novelty without emotion fades. A clever line might get a smile, but then disappears. You need both, unexpected and emotional. That's why playful, slightly mysterious words beat generic greetings. One blends in, the other slips past her guard and lodges in memory. Once you take up emotional space in her mind, the dynamic shifts. You're no longer just a name, you're a presence. Most men don't see the trap. They start sounding like everyone else. Same greetings, same questions, predictable rhythm. They vanish into background noise. Not disliked, not wrong, just forgettable. Then they try harder. Longer messages, more emojis, bigger compliments, more questions. They think effort equals interest. The truth? It doesn't. It often pushes her away. The unconscious doesn't respond to pressure. Attraction needs space. It grows in tension between wanting more and not having it yet. Flooding her with attention removes tension. What was light and easy becomes heavy. Excessive effort flips the balance. Instead of wondering if she can win you over, she feels the prize is already there. Human psychology values what feels earned. Constant questioning drains intrigue. Interaction feels like work, not play. Questions aren't bad. The right question at the right moment creates connection. But rapid questions to avoid silence send the wrong signal. They show discomfort with space. Attraction isn't built on filling silence. It's built on impact. It's not how much you say, but what you leave behind. Your goal is sparks, small flashes of novelty, curiosity, and emotion that stand out from the dullness of daily conversation. Think of it this way. If every other man hands her water, you want to be holding a match. Water is safe. A match changes the atmosphere. A match has heat, danger, makes her stop and notice. It creates a moment. That's the difference between background noise and music. Jung spoke about symbols and emotional resonance. When you hint at possibility, paint even a small picture, you engage her unconscious. Real attraction lives there. Instead of chasing attention with words or flattery, the strongest move is stepping back. Create space. Let your presence and choice of words work. Give her room to feel you, not just read you. Stop out-talking every other man and focus on impact. You move from background static to the signal she tunes into without knowing why.